What's good, everybody? This is Dario Hunt from Living Life Fearless, and I'm back with another reaction, this time to Diplomatic Ties by the Diplomats. So, let's talk about it. Right off the back, after the first listen, let me just go ahead and say that no, this can't hold a candle to their diplomatic immunity days, but they do get closer than they have any right in doing so. I don't know exactly how long it's been since they put out a project. I would say at least 10 years or so. But I don't know anybody who has been away for that long that's been able to come back and recapture that same magic. Because in reality, the sound and kind of what you expect from music now compared to when they were out is just so different that there's no way that they would be able to have that same sort of success or impact as they did back then. But I do want to talk about their impact back in those days a little bit because in my book they are easily one of the most slept on and underrated groups and artists from that time period, the early 2000s. A lot of artists these days might not admit it, but the shit that they were doing back then when it comes to their style and fashion, the way they talked, the way they carried themselves, the way they rapped, was definitely a direct influence to a lot of the artists that are out right now. Their sound and style, the way they rapped and flowed, the way their production was just so different and unique to them that there was nobody out there that could even come close to emulate what they were doing, and nobody's been able to come close to what they were doing then. Now, the closest sort of analog to them for me would be kind of the ASAP crew, even though their sound is still wildly different, but it was just so uniquely different from the rest of New York because they were from Harlem that you can kind of see the comparisons between the two. I say all that to say that I think if they came back with that same sort of approach to their music now, they wouldn't be so out of place as you might think. I think that they would be able to still find fairly good success because, in all honesty, we still have never heard anything quite like them. Now, they did bring back their core. They are missing some notable artists here, and those artists definitely feel some type of way about it because they released a project called The Upstage. 40, Harrell, and J.R. Ryder, who, while mainly ancillary acts to Jim Jones and Juelz and Cameron, they did have a huge influence still on the whole Dipset movement at the time. So maybe I'll give the project a listen and react to, but probably not. We all came here for Cam and Jules and some people Jim, and that's what we get. And while we don't get that straight magic and same feel of those highs of like the Diplomatic Community days, we do get pretty damn close, and Dipset Forever is probably the closest song out of everything on here to kind of represent what they were doing back then. And everything else for the most part is a pretty good attempt at that, even though I do think they still play things entirely too safe. But there's one song in particular that I did not need on here, and that would be On God. I'd never really want to hear them on that type of beat or doing that type of wave, and it just doesn't work here. And the fact that they released it as like the lead single kind of put a bad taste in my mouth before I even started listening. If anything, in my opinion, I think No Sleep should have been like that bridge between this generation and my generation that grew up listening to them as a lead single. I think that's a better attempt and a better representation. But at 9 tracks, it comes and goes before you even notice. And while I can't necessarily say it makes me want to hear another entire project from them anytime particularly soon, but I wouldn't be totally against it. And most surprising to me was that Jim Jones, maybe I'm wrong, but in my opinion, I feel like his bars and his rapping have heavily stepped up from those early days. If anything, Cam was the one who got the most lost out of everybody on this album, and that's surprising because normally his parts are the most memorable. So maybe it just takes some time to really get that chemistry back. Well, I don't know the whole Juelz situation with the gun stuff, but like I said, I wouldn't be totally against them taking another crack at it. At the least, I'd be up for a reunion tour for sure. But for those of you that did hear the album, What do you guys think about it? Did you guys grow up Dipset fans? Do you think this is a good step for them, like a good entry back into music for them? Was there anything that you kind of wish you'd heard from them that you didn't? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to head over to Living Life Fearless, the official website, and you can leave your own ratings and reactions to this album, other albums, and everything else I react to over there on the site. If you have anything that you would personally like me to react to, you can also let me know in the comments down below. And if you like any of the gear that I rock in these videos, like here, we're here, you can also head over to the website and grab some for yourself. As always, thank you guys for joining me. If you enjoy these videos, please smash that like and subscribe button for me. And yeah, I will be back shortly with more reactions, so I will check you guys soon. Peace.